Hey, Spectrum Orange Monster Lines with me, Speckles here, Coach of this video. In this video, I am going to be doing every single video that was happening this week and last week that I haven't done, and I missed, and also the video for next week. So without further ado, let's roll intro, let's get into this video, and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. The first section of drawings is going to be the video that was going to be titled my submission for this month's Popcast Community Redraw, which was going to be it was going to be August of 2022. This first one is really just a sketch of, a drawing of the first base form of what my submission was going to be for this month's Popcast Community Redraw of August of 2022. And overall, I like how this one turned out. The ability I had came up for this thing was going to be something along the lines of mim sound or something. It's pretty much the same ability for both evolutions. Well, the base form can really just copy any sound-based move that is of it, and as the main one, second form, I'll go into that one when I actually draw it. But overall, for this form, it was an overall relatively simple idea and an overall relatively interesting one. Although I did switch up with the eye color, as you can see. And originally I was going to go for a turquoise, but also did it for a dark blue and gave it a tail later on. But anyways, originally I was trying to figure out like a ultimate, pretty much remover types of Pokemon. But then I realized, none of these moves really work on him, or really would affect him. So I was gonna have to figure out a ability for him and all that. And I also want to make a raise. But I just came up with the idea for a sound-based Pokemon that could copy any sound-based move idea. That one was just a really interesting idea I came up with. So, Mimicry was the base form, and as it turns out, I actually needed one form, two stages, one form, two poses for it, instead of your stereotypical, three stages and three drawings, one head close up, and two poses. So now the second one, as you can see, I went for more of a water-like one. Originally, the one on the left arm, I believe, was originally just going to be pure water, but I had the idea for it to be more like an ice blade, so that's what I did. And as you can see later on in the drawing, that I actually gave it more of a yelling like motto, not really like sound waves. So I like little straight lines of a toned down gray to give it like yelling lines, which I actually found pretty good and really interesting. And it really makes this character a little more fun to draw, and I kept in the fact that this thing is crying from its eyes. But it was a relatively simple idea. And for the Mimicry, I'm imagining these things stood around 3 feet tall, weighing around 25 pounds. I would say the evolved version weighs around maybe 50, 75 pounds and stands at around 3.5 feet to 4 feet tall. Would make sense. Still relatively loud. Loud crying, but makes more growling, grumbling noises because it is more of a yeller. It has a really bad yelling screech attack. I imagine it having one. it could actually deal around a decent amount of damage. It'll be psychic based. The thing's a psychic water type, whereas the original was a pure psychic type, I believe. As for the tail, I just really make it longer. Now this is right here was what I was talking about, me changing from water into an ice-like design, but more of an icicle. I like this idea, and I believe I did it for the other side as well. But other than that, this drawing came out relatively fun. It was a little more difficult to come up with this idea. Although, looking back on it now, I should have gone for that legendary Ultra Beast or mythical Ultra Beast like one. But hey, you gotta deal with what you gotta do. And also, I realized that I made 2 feet not really work out the same. Also, it kind of broke the guy's leg. If you look at the bottom, I should have looked at that better. But hey, I can imagine this Pokemon having long legs and their kneecaps being closer to the bottom of their legs. Now, for the record, since I could only have one form and 2 poses for it, I decided to go for the evolved form. So yeah, and this is the reason why I'm redrawing it right now. And fun fact, I didn't even use a sketch for this one, surprisingly enough. Like, you can actually see that, although. And it was a little difficult, but yeah, I made it work. For the secondary pose, I decided just to have the guy just be standing up. It was a relatively simple idea, yeah, but hey, it got the job done. It turned out relatively okay. I could have done better. Matter of fact, like this entire Pokemon, I could have done better. I am no big fan of Pokemon, to be honest, so I didn't really care on how it was like. But I really do like the drawing and the idea behind it, though. Really interesting, and could have been a really cool design for a Pokemon. Imagine this thing being called as the base form Mimicry, being known as the crying mimic Pokemon. It can mimic any sound it hears as long as it's a crying sound. Whereas the Mimiel could have been known as the mimicking yelling Pokemon. It was known to create, any sound-based move and recreate any sound that a Pokemon made, all the way up from Arceus all the way down to your regular old Growlithe or whatever common Pokemon you have to deal with. It would have been a relatively interesting idea, but overall this drawing came out just the way it is, and it was really fun, although I did draw inspiration from a Penguin and Piplup because of the little oval on its chest, and Mudkip from the tail. So that's pretty much what I will have to say for this one. The second one was going to be for a video titled Anime Characters as Lycanthrope or Lycanthrope Anime Characters Part 1. So let's see how these drawings turned out. Now, having to deal with demons is no fun. And recently I found out that we aren't fully alone in this world. And what I mean by that is we have to deal with other creatures. I have contacted the members of a group called the Lycanthrope Society, and they have sent me some files over some of their members and people they are hunting. The Lycanthrope Society, like the name suggests, are members of the Lycanthrope family. Lycanthropes are, anyone that can turn into a beast or more beast-like. Most commonly are, funny enough, werewolves. Werewolves are actually more popular than most people think. The Lycanthrope Society is actually only around, surprisingly, 65% werewolves, whereas the smaller members make up more of the numbers. I have 2 files with me today, instead of my regular Demon Chronicles, which I will go over soon. I'm going to be telling you about these files. Let's see, first one. Let's see. Name is animal is a demonic hellhound. Oh, that's a mistype. Wait, demonic hellhound. Oh, frick. Hound and hound are relatively close creatures that resemble one another. Hellhounds are ferocious and will attack anything on sight, about the size of a wolf. A demonic hellhound is more cunning and far more vicious, although they are more notorious for being hybrids. This is interesting, but would also make sense. The demonic hellhound Benimaru. There's no D in there for the record. And this one was one of the random offshoots I got right here. It says right here in the file, that the demonic hellhound are closely related to this creature known as the demonic, hellhounds and demonic hellhounds and hound are closely related, although a few discrepancies. The demonic hellhound permanently changes the human's skin color. Yeah, it's a little fun. But not from a regular black or white. Turns them into a different color all entirely together. Great. Name is Benimaru. That's an interesting name. Region and precinct. Location is surprisingly hidden portion of Japan, and that's an interesting one. That somehow borders America. That is definitely interesting. Oh, wait, what on earth? This is actually inside. That's freaky. According to this file, this is a pocket dimension. It's more like a rift. This is interesting. Due to the power of the creature, it is actually able to be found. Well, the demonic hellhound that turns Benimaru is more akin to something resembling a Keechin. This Benimaru is most likely known to relate in the hellish Dura forest and the nation known as Tempest, reigned over by the Ultimus Slimus Remove Tempest. It's not really a hellish landscape, to be honest, though. It's a very relatively peaceful place, and it's more like a heaven. But it can be hellish for people who attack and try to kill people of this nation. The people of this nation are really close and tight-knit with one another. And if so provoked, they will kill people. File 2. This is not a member, and I repeat, this is not a member. This is an extremely powerful individual known as Malim Nava. This one is a draconic lycanthrope. She has a more humanoid appearance, but her best friend, the Ultimus Slimus Rumor Tempest, gave her 2 gauntlets known as the Draconic Gauntlets, which, whenever she activates her lycanthrope form, fully shift and take over her arms. Her eyes turn into a dark bluish color. Her hair, which is usually in 2 pigtails, goes, and some strands harden up into scales and flow all around. her bare chest turns into scales. Her skin turns a pink color, which is pinker than her regular skin color. Her metal combat boots turn into clawed feet. A talon grows into 3-toed. Yeah, that's a little fun. And with a back claw growing out of them. She grows 2 green turquoise-like orbs on her shoulders. And her power is boosted exponentially. She still regains her childlike nature, but she still keeps her. She also gains intelligence, and her destructive habits are more present. That's just great. The ultimate slime, as Raymond Tempest, was actually able to befriend this so-called Demon Lord. Great, that's just great. Although he's mostly referring to her as a Dragonoidus. A Dragonoidus is said to be part human, part dragon, although we have no statements or blood to actually run against known Dragonoidus. Wait, Dragonoidus is Dragonoids? I think I know what these people are talking about. Anyways. More and more of these creatures of the Dragonoidus family are not really showing up, but it is said that she is related to a god. Motherfricker, this is gonna take forever to deal with. Known as Veldanava, not to be confused with Veldanava. That's confusing. They are one and the same person, but Veldanava, her father, was once Veldanava, the true dragon, supposedly, of that world. And the pocket dimension usually leads into the hellish Jura forest, but sometimes brings other people to the hellish Eastern Empire, or the Eastern Empire, or the Western Kingdom. This pocket dimension is known as Tenhelshura. Tenhelshura is home to many monsters and individuals, some not as powerful as others, although sometimes they are known to take more human shapes and visit our world. Rimuru Tempest is the most common coming and leaving member of this group, along with some other demon lords, mostly referred to as demonic lords, like the demonic lord Guy Crimson. Crap, no, this guy, he's an actual demon lord who actually creates some of these demons I have to deal with. Great. He has 2 primordial demons under him, as well as him being a primordial demon himself. The primordial known as, one primordial demon known as the primordial demon of blue rain, and the green primordial of known as misery. Great. These 2. That's just great to deal with. That's pretty much all the files for this one. This third segment was going to be Animals as Demons Part 1. Well, I am definitely back sooner than I thought. Okay, so I'm going to be going over great demonic animals. These animals are animals that were not really evil per se, but just caused a lot of destruction in their time. And this is the first one of the 3 I'm going over. This one is known as Baddix, but also, quick correction, these are actual demons. modeled after animals. Baddox cannot talk or cannot see but smell. His eyes are presumed to be stitched shut. His wingspan is around 10 feet on either side, so 20 feet in length. His body width is around 6 inches at the most and around 4 inches at the least. He has razor-sharp claws and a tail that he uses to snatch up any prey he wants. His feet are both clawed with 3 prongs. 3 clawed feet. His tail is the same, but bigger. He has bluish skin, which he uses to his advantage of camouflaging into the dark at night. He is a very strong and dangerous demon and individual, let alone. His wings make no noise whatsoever. He does use echolocation every now and again, but only when he's by himself and nowhere near a house or a human civilization. He is known to feed off of livestock every now and again, but his preferred prey is, not surprisingly, humans. His usual tactic is to grab them by his tail or feet and fly them up to the air, where they will be scared from falling. So pretty much similar to his fear of falling demon I have yet to cover. He would mostly use his psionic ability to read people's minds to navigate where he is. The next one is definitely Satan's favorite pet, known as Dolphinese. Dolphinese is a dolphin demon, like you could guess, and this one was pretty much created from the pure malice dolphins let off. Yeah, fun fact. You might be thinking, oh, dolphins are so cute and adorable and so innocent. They're not. According to some articles I've read, dolphins are really nasty individuals. Now, when they say nasty, I am talking that they know how. They know that pufferfish can, if they were to be stung by one, it could kill them. Now, you might be thinking that's just real intelligent. They would play with a pufferfish like a volleyball and use the neurotoxin in the stingers to get high. Yeah, not a very fun individual if you think about poor pufferfish. But hey, those things could kill a human. They would too. A dolphin. I don't know what I'm saying, dolphin. A dolphin would also kill a human. They're also known to bully sharks. You know, one creature people are really afraid of, but don't really kill that many people. Yeah, they're also sometimes known to bully one shark in particular people are really scared of. Great whites. Not very funny. This demon is more like a head of a pack of demons. It's a shared name amongst a group. But Dolphinese, his crest, he actually has a solid black, not solid black, but a dark blue horn on his head. And his dorsal fin is a lot bigger than most others. So you can tell him apart from the rest of the pack. But his Um, abilities include shapeshifting, so he can make himself appear like to be a regular dolphin. And if you're ever swimming with these dolphins and notice one being relatively aggressive, and he cannot really control his need to be aggressive, you will be able to spot him sitting like a sword, like a needle in a haystack. Well, in a needle in a barren wasteland. So pretty easy. Just be careful and do not swim. Do not let them clue in that you know what they are. If you see this, slowly swim away from them. They will allow you to leave, but do not let them get you into water that is deep enough to, well, let's just say, have your skeleton never show up. This last one is one known as Mantitrix. Mantitrix is that of resembling a regular manta ray, although one wing is somewhat shaped like a triangle, so you can easily tell him apart from a regular manta ray when he's in his manta ray form. And in his true form, he is actually around, 25 feet in length and around 40 feet in length. In width, that's from tip to tip of his fins / flippers. His gills are located on both his upper head and under his head in that form. His regular eyes are actually fused shut when he is in his main form, because the things that are going underneath manta rays, I don't really know what those are, but I think they're like for feelers or something. Those are actually grow spikes and actually are where his regular eyes are located. He is a very vicious hunter, and the fact that his poison is a very nasty one. Even if you are not outside, not even in water, and let's say you're walking along the beach and you see a manta ray wash up, and you're smart, you think you're going to kind of to help the thing back into the water. Stay far away from manta rays in general, though, because their stingers are big enough to puncture through your heart. Just actually, that one Australian dude that got stabbed through the heart because of one. His stingers in particular are around 7 inches in length, whereas his main one is around a foot, nearly foot and a half long. His tail is 10 feet long, and the rest of his body is the remaining, if I remember correctly, I'm going to say his longest one is around a foot and a half long, and his tail's around 10.5 feet long, so that's around 12 feet. Yeah, his body is the remaining 14 feet long. 14 feet. His head, aka the biggest portion, the second biggest portion after his midsection, is around 2 feet in diameter. His regular hunting method is to sting his victim, paralyze them, then devour them. But if he stings you outside of water, it would still paralyze you, but also give you the drowning sensation. So that's how that one hunts. That's all I got for today. This video segment was going to be for Transformers as Techno worms. So let's see how these drawings turned out, which I actually kind of like these ones. Hello everyone, it's me, Techno Warren Cole, and I'm going here talking to you about some more people I've met with similar abilities to my own, although somewhat more advanced. By advanced, I'm meaning more advanced techno worms. The abilities of them are also somewhat higher than my own. They include, but not limited to, energy weapon constructs, and the ability to fuse their own body with metal at a molecular level, and even actually form biometal. Even I'm not able to do that at the moment. What I can do is a disruption field that they can't. But I heard that there is one amongst the opposite side I'm talking about that has the ability to open portals to other dimensions, much like myself. Anyways, the first person I'm talking about is one of the few, or one of the good guys. Codename Optimus Primus. Primus is what he usually goes by. It's his actual name. He actually doesn't really have anything wrong with him, other than some mild, mild conditions. So like a mild allergy to shellfish, a mild allergy to cedarwood, some mild ADHD, and a mild irregular heartbeat, which he does wear a pacemaker for. This is actually how he managed to bond with the Techno worm relatively easily. But due to his other ability, due to his other allergies and ADHD, he's actually one of the more prolific fighters out of these guys. And when he's in his so-called battle form, his Techno worm takes over a good chunk of his chest to require some of his armor, and then sends out cables onto the back of his head to download the information to his backpack, which is soon taken over and turned into oxygen containers, so that way he can breathe in space. He's capable of flight while in this form, and he is mostly known to form his right arm into an energy blade of sorts, or into a bladed weapon that can turn into a, energy weapon. It's a very nasty ability of his, for sure, but he is a very, very good fighter. Once he originally had the Techno worm, the Techno worm is known as Optimus. Optimus is the Techno worm, and Primus is the guy's name. When Primus first got Optimus, they weren't very compatible with one another. They both have a very good, strong sense of justice, but the Techno worm preferred to easily dispatch the enemy in one shot, most likely killing them, whereas Primus preferred a non-lethal route. They soon came to the agreement that some criminals just had to straight up disappear, if you would, whereas some were fine to be left alone. Something like a small mugging using a fake knife. Like that one episode from NCIS. Anyways. And that's what they did until they came across some of the more empowered, techno-wise enemies of theirs. Overall, they are a very good fighting combo, and they're known to cover each other's weak spots. Primus's weak spots are the fact that his reaction speed isn't as fast as when he's using a Techno worm, but other than that, his strength is decent for an average human. And for Optimus's, his relies on not knowing humans all that well and underestimating a few of them. So, That's how they counter each other and cover each other's blind spots. Now, this one just goes by one name, and one name alone. Mechatronics. Mechatronics is the fusion of an unnamed human corpse and a technoworm known as Mechatronics. Mechatronics is a very bad, and I mean a very, very, very bad guy. Like I was saying, Mechatronics is not a good guy. Instead, he is a really, 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 really bad guy. He might be fused to a human corpse, but that human corpse was later to be discovered to be the corpse of a very prolific serial killer that used how do you say, people's own tech against them. So imagine a murderous, psychopathic techno worm bonding to a possibly even more psychopathic, murderous human that was good technology. And I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention that when a human and a technoworm bond, even if the human is dead, the technoworm is able to see all their memories. So as you can imagine how freaking dangerous that combination is. Mechatrix is by far the most dangerous villain that that Primus has to fight at all. Primus has actually killed Mechatronics a few times, although Mechatronics has usually come out on top. He does have his own little gang of techno-worm-empowered people that he just calls the Deceptiworms, whereas Optimus Primus has his own gang, although smaller but more formidable. They are a lot stronger in some than most others technoworms, like one named Felix or something along those lines, being his scout. But trust me when I say that you have to fight either of them. You have to fight Mechatronics or Optimus Primus. Optimus Primus. I mean, you'll be in for an utter and disturbing but beat down relatively quickly. And when I say that they are both formidable fighters, you know I am not joking. Once I actually had to fight one of them, if I remember correctly, with Mechatronics. I had my teeth busted in a few times before I was able to get a good shot off on him that actually embedded him into a wall. I tried my best to get him to actually remove the worm, which is the only way to kill him permanently, but he actually managed to get back up like a zombie, and get away from me relatively quickly. He was able to regenerate that hole later on, replacing more and more of his body with metal. He's one of the few that can create biometal. And trust me when I say that he is not a fun guy to fight. Constantly regenerating from other wounds and previous wounds here and there. He is a very fast healer. But if you were to injure him from an injury he got like 1 or 2 fights ago, the injury would automatically reopen, even from the slightest attack. From an energy-based weapon, that is. You need like a 50 caliber bullet to actually do any real damage to him. Which, trust me, it is quite hard to do. Because it has to be an armor-piercing round to do any real damage. And Optimus Primus has actually learned this earlier on and has adopted a lot of armor-piercing rounds into his arsenal, specifically made to counter mechatronics in their fights. Overall, mechatronics is wanted for multiple crimes that include but are not limited to murder, espionage, and manslaughter. And pretty much just killing people at random. That's all for this one. This next video segment was going to be for Hybrid Animals Part 2. Let's just say, these creatures are by far some of the more interesting ones, but also some of the more, violent ones. Sometime Mantis, or the Serpentis, are a hybrid race of praying mantises and serpents. They have a really thin body that can actually climb pretty much anything. They are a really common combination of a constrictor and venomous snake. And so they are a constricting venomous one. These creatures are mostly found in pretty much anywhere that both constrictor and venomous snakes can be found. They are mostly found in mountainous regions, and surprisingly in jungles and rainforests. Although their top fangs aren't really shaped like regular fangs, they are actually inside. While they're inside their mouth, they actually curl outwards and underneath it. They can actually click together due to some joints in the mouth. Very, very much similar to a regular praying mantis would. These snakes are, the sirs. It's something most people call them. The sirs are a very nasty race in the fact that these pincers on their teeth, these pincers are actually where they inject their venom from. They can also range from anywhere from around, their mandibles but they use to easily go like that. It can easily range from anywhere around 6 inches long, all the way down to only a few inches, or maybe even centimeters in length. And some of these serpentises can range from only around 2 feet long, all the way up to 100 feet long. And their arms can range anywhere from 6 inches for the 2-footers, or around 15 feet for the 100-footers. And these things are actually some of the more common and more easily tamed creatures, surprisingly. I've actually met a few humanoid hybrids of them, and I do not want to go into how they mate whatsoever. It is quite disturbing. Now, like I was saying, what they're closely related to is, like I say later on, when I compare my next one to a creature. Talking about the flaming praying mantis found in the Girl Forest. These praying mantises are, not, able to cause fires at all, but instead are able to, praying mantises. The serpentises are able to cause some pretty nasty infections on people if they are inclined to do so. Let's just say that their bite is actually not as bad as their scratch. Their scratch is worse than their bite. When I just say that, it's pretty much just a very nasty creature. If you don't piss it off, that is. If you don't piss it off, it's a fine creature, but if you piss it off, you're not going to sleep well at night. That's all of it for this one. Now, just a quick tip. If you were to fight one of these, I suggest you aim for the head with a bloody 50 caliber bullet, because there's no way you're coming back if you have to fight a pissed off one. Now, let's move on to the next one. Now, this one is something that most insect monster tamers would love to have in their collection. And, well, in their arsenal of insectoid monsters or whatever. In this case, I'm talking about the Herculean Mantis Beetle, or the Herculean Mantis. These things can easily stand up to the same height as some of the bigger mantis creatures. When I'm saying they're big, I'm not kidding, they are huge. And not just huge, they are also, very durable. They have a very thick carapace on them. And their carapace, in fact, can easily block most projectiles. Trust me when I say that these things can be a complete and utter nuisance to deal with. Their carapace, when I mean it's durable, I mean it can stop a freaking 50 caliber armor-piercing round like it's nothing. These creatures are somewhat akin to some breeds of dragon, the fact that their scales are so durable, but also akin to some other creatures due to their, nature. Their more related sibling is actually surprisingly closely related to either the Mantiul or the Serpentis. Although both are relatively docile and non-violent creatures, you're better off not pissing one off. Or else if you do, you're more likely to find a hole through your chest, or if you're lucky, an arm removed. Yeah, I'm not kidding when I say these things are relatively violent when agitated, and have a reason to be. These creatures are also known to be extremely rare to find, especially in the wild. And when I'm saying that, I am not kidding. Matter of fact, the one I have is actually a really hard one to find. And when I say really hard one, I mean it took me months to find one. And I am not kidding whatsoever about that. And they're more closely related to a Bladehorn Hercules Beetle from the, Jura Forest. Something my brother talked about. And when else, they are extremely strong, but still not as strong as that breed. They are also related to the Flaming Blades praying mantis in some regards, due to their mantis traits. Although distantly related, they can't cause fires to erupt from their claws like these creatures can. Although there have been some cases of these two crossbreeding and creating something called the Flaming Herculean Mantis. Those things are a real nuisance. I have yet to catch one or tame one. And Well, like I said, their carapace is strong enough to just block a 50 caliber bullet. And don't remember where I left off. I had to deal with a meeting. Well, anyways, their armor, for most people, is actually natural armor that pro-national armorists really enjoy. Although, preferably, I actually find their armor quite lackluster. Most likely due to the fact that most of the armor that's supposedly all natural is bloody fake. It's really just a thick hair plastic one over, whereas the real stuff is really expensive. When I say really expensive, I am not joking. Even this could set me back a few weeks of pay. Well, that's pretty much all of this one. This segment is the first to last one. And this segment was going to be part 2 of Transformers as Techno Worms. So let's see how these drawings turned out. Okay, now I am back with 2 more. Remember how I was talking about one of the good guys? I forgot to mention their name. They're known as the Auto Warmists. The Auto Warmists are the good guys, to say the least. The Bumbling, their scout known as Bumbling Bix. I originally thought his name was Bumbling Felix, or Bumblebeelix, whatever. He is, how do you say, their scout. He packs a really nasty punch when he's fighting. He prefers to fight with a gun because that's really what killed his family. Yeah, I know. You might be thinking, well, this guy is most likely a vigilante of sorts. Mostly to the bad guys. Nope. He's actually a good guy. He isn't really violent, just per se, but he can be if you were to really tick him off, which is actually surprisingly hard to do. He's actually a really calm, cool, and level-headed guy once you get to know him. His vocal cords were actually damaged in one of his confrontations with one of his recurring villains. Well, recurring enemies of the Decepticons. His recurring enemy is by far Screamix. Screamix is pretty much one of the few Techno Worms that allows their user to, have something resembling jet wings or even flight for that matter. He's actually in control of a small battalion of, flyers. And from what Techno tells me, yeah, they are very fast. Flyers are a subspecies of Techno Worms that have the ability to fly very fast. But they also give any user they want, whatever wings they want. Either helicopter wings, airplane wings, even a jetpack every so now or again. That's what Techno has to say. Now, to put it lightly, these things aren't... What's Techno? Whatever. Me and, my friend get our, Techno Worms get mixed up every now and again. I will see if I can remember the guy's name. Really cool, you forgot my name? Yeah, sorry. Fine, I'll tell you later. Sorry. Anyways, these Bumbling Bix, or referred to as Bix by most of them, he is their scout. Meaning he is a very fast and nimble guy, but he's also a very, very good fighter. And when I say very, very good, I'm not kidding whatsoever. He's actually been known to be able to take down a small battalion, including Screamix, a few times. And you know Screamix is a tough guy. When even someone like, Techno cannons, or Iron cannons, is whatever he's called, is having a hard time dealing with the dude. Now, Screamix is mostly known just to come back from pretty much anything. Similar to Mechatronics, they are both very hard guys to put down for good. But Screamix is a lot harder. And funny enough, ever since someone gave the BX a new upgrade, he's actually been able to shoot off his body parts, including his own head, and reattach them using electromagnets. Now, this is a very impressive ability because it actually allows him to survive being beheaded and having one of his arms cut off. Yeah, the dude lost his arm in that same fight. He lost his vocal cords. And for the record, this was when Bix was still just your regular old human. Now, let's go and move on to not Screamix, but someone about his level. Now, if y'all would remember, I told y'all about someone that can open portals much like myself. And, well, this is the guy I was talking about. His name is Soundwavix. Soundwavix is actually more of the mentally flexible of the Techno the Deceptiworms. Mainly due to the fact that he isn't one to kill. Now, he would use the environment to kill someone, but he wouldn't really get his own hands dirty. What I mean is, if there was a way for him to get away with killing multiple people, he would, but he prefers not to. If he were to fight someone, he would maim them. And I'm here with Karma for this one because he has something to say about this one. It appears that, also thank you, Hoko, for having me. I have something to say about this guy. He's been known to come to my world, and how do you say this? To capture some of the dragons and see what would happen if he were to merge them with, how do you say, techno worms. And I'm not caught saying, like, just add techno worm on top. I'm actually talking full-on fusion between the two species, which is something that he's been researching, from what I can tell, because I have seen some of his handiwork. Very much like the, rattling techno-blade snake that my brother got bit by a few months ago. That was a very fun creature to deal with. Was it me who got bit by it? That's a side effect. I could forget it's me, or tell it was my brother. It's just one of the things it has the effect on someone who is an overseer or a son or a child of an overseer. Soundwavix has the ability to open portals, much like Cole. Although he also has two tentacles on his back, which is what he uses to actually grab things, very much similar to his own hand. He also has clawed feet in order to help him grip the ground better. And he has one arm permanently shifted into a cannon ready for fighting. Now, he mostly uses it to open portals, too. He can use the energy that's shot off from it and control it down into a blade that he can use to open a portal in front of himself. Now, you can also do that where it can cause a bigger portal, or you could easily create a smaller portal, still about roughly the same size or so as the energy blade one, but not as powerful. What I mean is, each portal has a small vacuuming effect. Even if you were to walk straight into it, you could possibly have an arm ripped off. That is for regular portals, although me and most of the people can actually regulate this side effect. Me and Cole here have the ability to regulate that, and that's how we've been able to travel the multiverse without really losing a limb or anything. But let's just say that he weaponized this a lot, using the energy blade shot off from the cannon on his arm cannon. He has been known to rip people's arms off using this. That's how he mostly used the environment to kill. He's also known to open these portals for some of the troops, but cancel out that. So he has been shown to actually remove it, right? Yes, he has. As a matter of fact, he does this quite often. And thanks, Karma. Now I'm pretty sure this guy is also immune to have his own limbs ripped off when walking through portals, namely to the fact whenever I see him and trying to help up the Autobot Warmus, I'm always struck with this energy field that is just a pain to get through. He has the ability to disrupt other Techno worms, surprisingly. That's all for today, for the record. Animals/insects as demons. Part 2 was going to be the title of this next segment, if it was going to be a full-fledged video. But without further ado, let's see how these drawings turned out. Now let's just say that having to deal with demons can be fun at times and also can be an utter nightmare. Hercules Felix. Relative to another demon, and these demons are all related to one another. You might have heard of Beelzebub, but have you heard of Felix? Felix. It is his son. His son who has surpassed him as the sin of, not really the sin of gluttony, but the sin, not really a sin demon actually, more like the demon of gluttonous insects. These insects, by far, are some of the more dangerous demon ones. We first have Hercules Felix, like I said earlier. He mainly takes the form of a regular Hercules beetle, but 5 times the size. He actually has the ability to shapeshift his limbs into much larger variants. Some with even claws on the bottom of the feet, some just regular hooked feet, and some just stuck in the middle of mid-transformation. He can use these, he can also unwound them, and those are the ones that stuck in mid-transformation. Those are the ones he just unwound to use as regular tendrils to attack people. He is a very violent one. He's also able to rotate his mandibles from its regular lower one on bottom to the bigger one on top, and rotate them so he can actually trap people and hook them up and lift them up relatively easier. He is also a very fast one for his size. He weighs around a ton, and his armor is a very, very thick carapace, strong enough to make him comparable to a cockroach demon, which are known to sometimes survive bloody nukes. Yeah, these things are a nuisance to deal with, but they are been known to be scared off with a pesticide, actually a pesticide created by the demon hunters themselves. It is a simple pesticide with some holy water mixed in and some preferred scriptures of Catholic text ripped up and burned up, and the ashes are added in. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is when we can start stepping into humanoid territory. Patrix Mantis. Mantis is like you can take a guess, a praying mantis demon. He has the ability to camouflage into pretty much any surrounding he wants. He's a very dangerous demon for that ability, namely in the fact that he ambushes his enemies. And when I say it is hard to catch the dude, I mean it is really, really hard to catch him. Even I have had trouble finding him. And I'm one of the best demon hunters we've got. And although they don't really trust me due to my really unusual demon. Anyways, he has the ability, well, not just the ability of invisibility and camouflage, but also the ability to speak, surprisingly enough. And very much similar to some other demon, he has two sets of arms. Weapon arms, which are the ones he found on his where you find your regular arms, but they have 4 joints. One on his shoulder, one that acts like a first elbow, one that acts like a second elbow, and one that acts like a wrist that allows him to go up and down. But he's also able to rotate all of them 160 degrees, so he can attack from all angles. But he has a secondary set of limbs, which are 3-pronged fingers, or pretty much claws, which actually are closer down to his legs. He's a very fast and nimble demon to deal with. If I remember correctly, his left side arm hand thing is actually much more bigger and sharper than his right side. His right side is used for closer ones, and also for injuring people, like cutting Achilles tendons and making it harder for people to run away, whereas his left one is more specifically designed to cut through things and to deliver a killing strike, for either slitting the throat or cutting and piercing someone's heart. He enjoys the thrill of the hunt. He enjoys making his prey scared. Simple way to get rid of him: same pesticide or a flamethrower. The guy might be a demon, but he's still a praying mantis. Although you'll need gasoline blessed with holy water to do it. Or, simply enough, a Bible attached to the flamethrower, which is actually easier to do. It's hilarious to see them scream from this thing. Now for the final one. It's better off if I tell you and give you this warning beforehand. Get away from this guy if you ever see him. He is by far one of the more dangerous and merciless out of any other demon I've been talking about. He is not scared of the Bible. He is not scared of the pesticide, even though it can hurt him. The only thing that he can really scare him away is a Bible with one scripture in particular. Surprisingly enough, the scripture that refers to the one plague God sent down to deal with the Egyptians. The locust one plague. So you need to burn this one in front of him in order to actually make him fear you. Name is by far one of the harder ones to find, but he's one of the stronger demons under Beelzebub's Wasp Tricks. Now you might think that might be a simple name to remember. Wasp Tricks has the ability of making you forget things relatively easily. He has standard colors of a wasp, sometimes confused for Bumblebix, or Bumblebix, or Bumblebee Tricks, or whatever. Sometimes confused for them, but he is a lot slimmer compared to them. His right arm is actually fully intact, and this arm is what he can produce a nasty concoction of a type of venom that can make you paralyzed, break out into hives, even if you don't have an allergic reaction to wasp stings, or even straight up kill you and stop your heart by stopping your heart. He's actually one of the few demons who actually has wings. Whereas his other arm is a bigger sack, but it is actually more potent venom than his right arm. His left arm is known as his blade arm. It is actually able to split up into at least 2 to 3 other blades and just send them out and slice and attack people. Although if you're fast enough swordsman, you can easily counter and dodge these attacks. But these can all form into one thicker blade. He has the potent toxin that can kill someone is strong enough to kill at least 15 fully grown adults in perfect health with one drop. When I'm talking a drop, I'm talking about at least a teaspoon is enough to kill 15 perfectly healthy grown adults. So, yeah, be careful around this one. And you will need a flamethrower with that one scripture and gasoline mixed with holy water to kill him. That's all for this one today. This segment is just me drawing a school project. It was a simple 20-minute drawing, so hope y'all enjoy it. Now this one is really just a video of me drawing a project I had to do for my school, and it was overall a really fun project. I had to do Beetle fighting the dragon, as you can see. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this segment. Okay, before we do the outro, I want to give y'all a heads up that I do not plan to make these a regular thing, just in case I miss out on a handful of videos, and I want to get all of them done so I can work on some other projects. I might do more of these compilation videos of me compiling multiple videos that I was supposed to do and am going to do into one video. So, without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed today's video, but I'm afraid that's all I'm back up for today. But until next time, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to me, or do my salons. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.